One of the most common anime-only questions is why doesn't Subaru just have like a gun, or he has a piece of poison like cyanide, so that whenever a situation goes poorly, he could just kill himself. He can jump off a cliff, he can get a knife and stab himself in the throat. Now, this video is going to be looking at that question and dissecting it and explaining why Subaru doesn't do this. So anyways, enjoy the video. So why doesn't Subaru just abuse return by death, keep something like a knife or poison pill so he can abuse return by death if something goes wrong? And we actually do have the answer to this. According to Tappe, Subaru doesn't think about returning by death unless it's at the last possible moment. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, but we can actually see this in the anime, so I'm going to give you a few examples which shows this. One example is when the Witch of Envy consumed the sanctuary. You'll notice that despite Ram getting consumed, despite Roswell getting consumed, despite Emilia's disappearance in quotation marks, despite Garfiel getting killed, Subaru didn't decide to return by death. He still wanted to go to the mansion to save Rem and Petra. In the Kiss of Death loop, when Ram was killed and Garfiel was killed, even then Subaru wanted to continue. He wanted to save Emilia from the Great Rabbit and he wanted to escape. So even when pretty much half the cast had died, Subaru didn't care. He didn't want to return by death because that's the last possible option that's available to him. In Arc 3, Subaru didn't want to die, despite earlier in the arc him stating he could fix anything with return by death. When he was faced with harsh reality, he realized that he did not want to die. Dying is painful, he doesn't want to go through that. If we move back to Arc 2, we know the reason why Subaru didn't want to die, because at this point he specifically states that he doesn't know if return by death has a limit, so he didn't want to die. That's the reason why he made a contract with Beatrice and he hid in the library. Subaru only realized he had return by death on the final loop of Arc 1, so he couldn't have abused return by death in Arc 1 because he didn't know he had it. So with all of that information, in addition to the Q&A post, you can see why Subaru doesn't rely on return by death. And if you want to see him actually rely on it, I highly recommend you read the Greed If story. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching and thank you to Nutrex for being a channel member. I'll see you guys next time.